So hi guys, welcome to this edition of Prep for Taxes. The focus of today's session is really looking at how to use the Prep for Taxes functionality in QuickBooks to simplify your year-end process, save you time, create an audit trail, and communicate with various team members within your firm or organization. So Prep for Taxes can be located in the Accountant's toolbox under Tools, and you access it by clicking on Prep for Taxes. There are a couple of things to note in the landing page. One is the tax year. You will notice that you are allowed to work within multiple prior years. You're not restricted to current year data. You also have the option of changing it between cash and accrual basis, depending on your client's basis of accounting. And on the top right-hand side, you have the accountant view only, which basically means only you, the accountant, is allowed to view the Prep for Taxes. Your clients will not have access to this at all. So Prep for Taxes is essentially broken down into 4 tabs. The first one we'll be looking at is the year-end tasks. Now, when you access the Prep for Taxes year-end tasks for the first time, QuickBooks has a pre-built checklist or process in here for you. So if you click down on this, you can always delete or edit one of your processes. And if you click the Add button, you can always tailor this list or this process to match what your firm is doing. Or if there's something from a compliance perspective you want to bring in, you can always type it in the process. So we'll add a new task here. And we'll save that. Now, every time you add a step in, it automatically drops to the bottom of the list. So to change the order, simply click on the dots on the side and drag and drop it to where you would like it to appear. This side of the screen gives you a really good snapshot of your status. And if you click the drop-down arrow, you see you have 3 different types of statuses: the to-do, the waiting, or the done. So if you are sitting on the reviewer side and you want to get a sense of where the work is in terms of the Prep for Taxes or year-end review, you can very quickly access the year-end tasks and see what is outstanding, what is waiting, and troubleshoot from there. Now, moving on, I will skip past the documents because we will come back to that. Next up, we will look at the review and adjust screen. Now, review and adjust is nice for a couple of reasons. One, it gives you 2 views, which is either your balance sheet view here, and if you toggle again, you have your financial statement line item view. So scrolling at the bottom, you have your profit and loss. Clicking on the gear icon, you have a couple of options in terms of how to analyze your variances. You can either choose a percentage of change or a dollar change. Or if you want to hide those, you simply untick it. The 3 that are grayed out means you cannot edit those because those are mandatory columns. If we just toggle back to the trial balance view, clicking on the cogwheel, you will notice that you have a couple of additional options here. And one is the beginning balances as well as ending balances. This gives you a really quick basis of comparison to try and identify if there's been any opening balance adjustments. And if there has been, then you can investigate it from there and find, so you're always ensuring that you're working from the right starting point. So once we have the view that we want to, we've done our variance analysis, we may want to get rid of some of the columns. My personal preference is to work in the financial statement line item view. And this is because if you are looking for material misstatement or errors, you are looking at it at a financial statement line item level, not necessarily an account trial balance level. So you'll notice that you have the adjusting entries column. And if we scroll down, right now everything is sitting at 0. But if there were adjusting entries in this file, it would show up in the adjusting entries column. So to make an adjustment, you simply click on the Make Adjustment link on the side. And this opens up the journal entry page for you. Now you will notice that this automatically defaults to the year end that you're working in, which is nice because you don't have to remember to change that date. And then you can start typing in the journal that you want to post. So you will notice that we've posted a journal, but it hasn't showed up in our adjusting entries column as yet. And that is because every time you draft a journal and post it in your prep for taxes functionality, you have to accept your changes before it actually gets posted to your year-end balances. Now, this functionality is nice if you have a isolation of responsibility and segregation of duties built into your year-end process. The second reviewer has the opportunity to view the changes before they accept it. And this will help you ensure that there's no material misstatement or errors that are within your file. So if we wanted to view the changes, you simply click on the hyperlink and it pulls up the journal. Here you can view the audit log. So again, it's very much achieving your isolation of responsibility. It's telling you who posted the journal and when was it done. And once we're satisfied that the journal has been posted appropriately, we can simply accept changes. And you will notice we have the journal posted up here. So that balance has changed from $200 to $300. Now, if we click on the arrow, we have some additional functionality that we can bring in. The one is adding a note. So if you're working on the files and you want to leave a note for the reviewer, or if you're on the reviewer side and you want to leave a note for the preparer, you can always do it through the add a note. Once you put a note next to a balance and you save it, you'll have the little icon here, so you can always click on it and come back and access the note. And if you wanted to delete the note, you clear it out and simply click on the delete button. And that's removed the note. Now, something else that you can do is actually add attachments. And this is where, if you're sitting on the bookkeeping side, you probably want to add in your bank statements directly. Instead of trading emails back and forth between the bookkeeper and the accountant, it will already be attached in your file. And every time you put in an attachment, it'll show you a paperclip with the number of attachments next to that balance. I would also use this not just for bringing in supporting documents like bank statements, but if it's a more complicated balance that requires a working paper to be prepared, I will attach my working papers in here. So that's essentially the review and adjust screen. And at the bottom, as mentioned earlier, you have the profit and loss that you can review in the same way. Now, if we look at grouping and statements, grouping and statements is essentially your financial statement view of your accounts. And when you first access it, it will default to the mapping that is in your chart of accounts in QuickBooks. So a couple of things that you can do here is create new groups. And to move your groups over, you simply drag and drop accounts into your new group. So if I wanted to split up my cash balances or my current assets between receivables and cash balances, then I will create new groups under those descriptors and drag and drop things across. And that extends throughout the grouping and statement section. You can also add in attachments or notes from the screen. And if you wish to ungroup something, you can simply click ungroup. And should be saying yes, but I seem to be having a technical difficulty again. So I'll just try to refresh my screen. So in an ideal situation, we could ungroup it from the left-hand drop-down menu, or you can always just drag and drop it across to wherever you would like it. So that's how you would ungroup your transactions. Once you're satisfied with the way you've grouped things and the financial statement view that you're going to obtain, you can click Run Report and export that out as an Excel document. And you will notice that it exports it out as draft financials with your primary statements here. And this is essentially the starting point for your financial statements that will always reconcile back to your file. Now, as we've moved through the demo file, we added documents at certain points, and we have a Documents tab here. So this Documents tab by default is organized into its financial statement line items on the balance sheet. And you will notice under the cash section, it already has an attachment. So in brackets, it will always show you the number of attachments next to a particular category. And dropping down on that will actually show you where the attachments are. And the download button here will actually allow you to download that particular attachment directly to your downloads folder. You also have the option of creating new folders. As well as creating subfolders. If you click on Mark Files for Carry Forward, this will automatically mark the file as carry forward to your next year. And that means that essentially all of your working papers are saved in your folders that you've marked to carry forward. So you don't have to go and recreate those working papers from year to year. And you've also backed up your prior year working papers for your audit trail. If we click on this again, you can see you can simply delete folders that you don't require or if you've created too many. If you go to the tools and you go to download to zip, this entire folder can be downloaded into a zip folder, and it will download in the same format that you see here. So it'll break each subfolder down into its financial statement item. But because this takes quite a bit of time, we might not go into the zip folder for today's session. And your zip folder can actually be uploaded to your cloud server or wherever you're doing your second backup to your information. Lastly, once we've finalized the file, we have the Export to Logit button here, which once clicked will direct you into the Logit, and you can then start going in and preparing your tax return. So that's essentially how you would be utilizing the prep for taxes and the different functionality within the software.